This video is going to walk you through the final assignment for the research report and infographic. This is our last assignment for English 114. It is worth the most points, and I think that everything we've learned so far is going to help you create your final. I have purposefully left this assignment open. I guess what I mean by that is I've left it, I don't really have any restrictions on it. I have this is probably one of the shortest assignment sheets that I've written all semester for you guys, and that is the case because I want you to have the freedom to write on things that you find interesting to you. I would encourage you to begin with content that you are studying, and I mean, if you're in law enforcement, then write a report on something related to that. Or if you're in nursing, write a report on something related to that. Because the whole point of this class is to get you to be comfortable really writing things that are you're going to find in your profession. So I would love to see something like that. Now, with that being said, please understand you cannot recycle any content from a previous course. So if you had a similar assignment in law enforcement class or nursing class or science class or English class or whatever, do not turn that in to me. We've spent all semester talking about ethics. Don't compromise your ethics just to make this go more quickly. If you need time beyond what you have in this course to complete this assignment ethically, send me an email. Okay. All right. So let's talk about it. At this point in the semester, you've learned how to format a basic page layout for APA 7th edition. You've practiced working on an infographic in a team. You guys are probably still working on that as you're working on this as well. So I know maybe you haven't completed it yet. And you've done some primary research through surveys and a little bit of reporting on that as well. So we're really kind of pulling everything that we've learned so far into this assignment at the end. This assignment is not connected to our collaborative technical document or our survey and data report. Okay, so what I mean by that is whatever you and your team are working on for the collaborative technical document, that infographic, you don't have to pick the same topic for this assignment. Whatever you surveyed and reported on, the data that you found for your last assignment, you don't have to do that either. But you can. If you really love the collaborative technical document topic and you want to make a new infographic, or maybe there was something you really wanted to do but your team decided to go in a different direction, then you can use that for this assignment. Or if you did a survey on something that you found really interesting, you're collecting all of this data, it's already on your mind for your personal survey and data report project, then you can use that information as well, and your survey can be one of the sources that you include. So you don't have to, but you can. Again, as long as you're doing it ethically. Of course, if you submit, if your team is submitting an infographic for that collaborative document, you can't double dip. You can't also submit that infographic for your personal final research report and infographic. So just keep that in mind. All right, so here are the details. I want you to write an objective 3-page report on a topic of your choice in an APA formatted document. So biggest word here is objective. This is not an argument, this is a report. It's informational. You are essentially like a librarian or an art collector. You're just curating information, you're organizing it, and you're giving that information to your audience, okay? You're not coming up with any philosophical ideas. You're not providing your opinion on the information. You're just curating the information so that your reader has this succinct 3-page document of content that they could read quickly. Maybe you've read books and books and books and books of stuff, and you're like, okay, here's the important, boil it down to this 3-page report. That's what you're doing. Okay, because this is an objective report, you want to use a formal tone. You want to be free from bias and subjective opinions as much as is possible. I don't think we can always get rid of our bias 100%. I just don't think that that's possible. But just, as long as you're not making any kind of big argument by reporting this information, then you should be fine. You're simply reporting information, you're not writing an argument. Your report should include at least 4 sources of researched and credible information. You may include your primary research from your survey report if you've selected the same topic. Okay, so once you've done that, I want you to turn your report into a short infographic. You will submit both the report and the infographic to me. I'm breaking it down now page by page. If you think of this whole assignment as all one document, including the infographic, then it's a 7-page assignment. So page 1 is an APA cover page. Now, you guys, I've already sent back all of you feedback on your APA tests with what you need to fix, and you should fix those things before turning in this final assignment. And of course, I'll give you feedback on your surveys and your data reports as well if I need to. Like correct things. Page 1, APA cover page. Page 2, abstract. Basically, once you've written your report, I want you to summarize it in 100 to 150 words. Page 3, 4, and 5 are your 3-page report. Do not write 4 pages. Don't write 2 pages, 3 pages. Think of it this way. If your boss asks you for a 3-page report and you gave him an 8-page report, that's way too much. That's more than double of what was asked. If your boss asks you for a 3-page report and you give him a 1-page report, you give her a 1-page report, whatever, then again, that just doesn't sound like enough. So I'm asking you for 3 pages. Again, I know I'm not your boss, but I want 3 pages. Begin with an introduction, then provide body paragraphs with logical organization, and end with a conclusion. Most of you are familiar with the structure of a paragraph, an introduction, a conclusion. You can follow those rules that you learned in English 111. You don't necessarily have to think too much about, like, is this evidence? Is this a thesis statement? Again, we're not really writing arguments here. So as long as your information is introduced, sorted through logically, it shouldn't be jumbled, it should be very logical. Some of the content that we're reading in chapter 7 helps express sorting. You can use headers if you want to. I just present me information in a report paragraph style. If some of those paragraphs need to use bullets, that's fine, but I still want to see a paragraph style report. Maybe some of you are thinking, well, can I use any visual aids? Really, your infographic is your visual aid. So maybe a chart, 1 picture, but I don't want you to use visual aids to take up space. If you're like, oh, I only wrote 1-page report, I'm just gonna add a bunch of bullets or charts, that's not what I'm looking for. And I will be able to guess that that's what you're doing, so don't do it. All right, so report 3 pages, introduction, body paragraphs, conclusion. In your body paragraphs, make sure that you quote and paraphrase from your sources. Make sure that you include in-text citations for those as well. Same comment as before. I've given you feedback on your APA tests, so you could use that to make sure that you have the correct in-text citations. I know we don't go over that in the most massive amount of detail, so if you have questions, please email me. All right, page 6 should be your references. Remember, I said I want 4 sources. You can have more than 4. That's perfectly fine. You can have as many sources as you want. You have to at least have 4. Those should all be listed on your references page. Page 7 is the infographic. Now I have a little star next to it because if you're creating an infographic in like Canva or some other infographic software creator, you don't necessarily need to copy and paste it into a Word document where you've got your report. So this star just means you may submit your infographic separately if you need to. That's not a problem. What I mean by that is you would submit your 6-page report and then submit a brand new file that is your infographic. And that's okay. There's a bunch of information on infographics that you can still find in the collaborative technical document assignment sheet, so I really don't want to go over that again, but if you have specifics, just let me know. All right, I think that's pretty much everything, and then I have the, like basically how I've chunked out how I'm grading this. I'm grading your report. I want to make sure it's objective. I want to make sure it's 3 pages. You've got introduction, body paragraphs, conclusion. There's no massive grammar errors. I don't like to talk about grammar. I think that you just will learn grammar over time as you read more. So, you know, if you don't have thousands of typos, if you have one mistake, I'm not going to count off. Just the more mistakes I see, the more it looks like you're not really paying attention to your report, which is just bad business, bad professionalism. So as long as your report looks professional, you can have a couple of typos, grammar errors, whatever. I'm checking you on research for sources, quoted, cited in APA 7th edition, that's the newest one. Credible sources, you have a references page. I'm checking your formatting to make sure that your cover page and your abstract looks good, and that your basic page layout is what it should be according to APA. That's like double space, 1-inch margins, a legible font. And then I'm going to look at your infographic and make sure that it represents the content in your report. So they need to obviously be connected, and essentially your infographic is a visual of your report. So it shouldn't be new information. What's in your report should be in your infographic, just in a much more boiled down visual way. There's going to be stuff in your report that you have to leave out of your infographic because you don't have enough space, and that I understand. You just want to make sure that you don't bring in any new content into your infographic that you did not present in your report. And if you want to bring in new content in your infographic, make sure that you go back and include it in your report as well, assuming that you have space. And then I'm just making sure, you know, you've thought about document design and visual aids. Essentially, it doesn't just look like a jumbled mess of visual barf. Of course, I always have some statement like this on my rubrics where your research report and infographic demonstrates an understanding of the goals and objectives of this assignment. So if you don't understand what those are, essentially the point is, let's bring everything we've learned together, and I want you to write me a report and give me a visual for it. So please, if you have any questions, let me know. If at any point you want me to take a look at any rough drafts that you're going, you know, processing through, working on, send those to me via email. I hope you're doing good. Let me know if you need anything.